I press.
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Andy, your hotel had me so fired up that I just had to find a new location to film today. So I'm also in a hotel. I'm down in San Diego, heading out your way to the desert on Thursday. Fired up to do this contest sign-up weekend. Talk to our old friends all over the place. So very exciting week this week, and we are covering the most exciting division in all of football, Andy, the NFC South.
Yes. And as always, we start at the bottom. I'll be in a different hotel by Wednesday. I'm moving over to the Circa.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then we'll be doing several shows from Radio Row up there. If anyone who has attended Bet Bash or any sort of convention downtown, we'll be up in the ballrooms on the top floor. Not the top floor. The top floor is the Legacy Club, but the top floor of the indoor stuff there. We'll be up in the ballrooms. And if you are in town signing up for the Circa Survivor or Circa Millions, you can just pop up there and watch us podcast, apparently. And there'll be a lot of, I think there's 30 shows going on up there. So definitely check that out if you're around, if you're in town, if you are signing up. We encourage you to sign up. First to 4 for the week. And as always, subscribe, rate, review, share, comment, appreciate, question, whatever. Hit it up, subscribe to the channel. And that's about the highlight of the show, because it's going to be nothing but bummers from here.
Well, we're starting early today, Andy. We're starting early so we can go watch Yannick Sinner play Carlos Alcaraz, which starts at noon. Cincinnati title on the line there. Obviously, I have some Sinner outright, so I hope he comes.
So far, so good for the San Diego version of Drew. Jeepers Cats.
What do you mean?
You froze for a hot take there.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, and your picture's perfect, too. You do have good I thought you had good signal down there. But, yeah, we starting a little early today. We should be noon Pacific the rest of the week, and then maybe a little moving and shaking around.
Actually, a little bit. I'm going to be a little late tomorrow. Early today, late tomorrow.
These last 2 weeks are always a pain, because we do have a lot of travel out here, and we're always getting some things done before we head into the football season.
Yep.
You know what wasn't a bummer? The first 2 games of the season, where we were like, oh my God, should we upgrade this team? Nah, they played the Panthers. And then the second week, it's well, that was a much better defense. That was a good team they played. I believe, that was the Cowboys game. Offense is clicking. We're buying the Saints, and then 7 straight losses, including, I think, week 4 was when they lost Carr. That was a problem, obviously, as well. That kind of exacerbated things. And then week, whatever that adds up to, week 9 or 10 in there was the end of the line for DA. We fired a coach. We brought in Darren Rizzi, as I pointed out on the Deep Dive Twitter channel. I'd forgotten. I was like, God, I've forgotten a little about Darren Rizzi. I knew he's a special teams coach. I'm like, where's he at? What's he doing? Where's this? And the first 5 things that pop up are him talking about taking a shit so big that he clogged the toilet.
The Rizzler.
And he thought that was bad luck, but they ended up winning the game. So that he's like, maybe I'm superstitious about that now. And that's the grossest. This is the grossest superstition a guy could have, I think. Please don't do anything about that, you sicko. Obviously, they moved on. We're now in Kellen Moore territory, and I think if you're a Saints fan, I know a lot of people are just wanting information for betting all the teams, and you listen to all these, but I do think some of you are probably Saints fans just by nature, or you're listening to this because you want to hear about your Saints. The Kellen Moore takes have to be all over the place, because people were really down on him at times, back in Charger land, and people are still down on him as far as, well, if you had the tush push and if you had and there are points to be made. If you had that play, that line, that head coaching staff, the rest of the coaching staff around you, those two receivers, that freaking running back, I guess, maybe it does make you look pretty good. So it'll be interesting, the first real go at it for a guy who's been, how long ago was it that he was in those conversations for like, hey, this kid could be a head coach someday? Feels like that was forever ago. San Diego. It might have been San Diego at that point. Who knows how far back when he was there. So now we finally get it, and it's easily the worst situation out of any of the coaching hires, but it's still a head coaching job. You're not going to say no, whatever. So that'll be really interesting because honestly, at the end of the year, there's a really good chance we haven't learned anything about how Kellen Moore is as a head coach, because it's super hard to evaluate a team when you're missing the most important piece, the straw that stirs the drink. And boy, this has been just the saddest quarterback competition. And in a year that the Browns, what the Browns are doing exists, this is a sadder quarterback competition. And I don't know, for my money, and I've watched them all play a little. I'd probably just start Shuck because you used draft capital on him, at least for like 2 weeks. And all right, this is really bad. We're done with this. Feels like you're committed to the bit. It was like a top 45 pick. You have to do something with him, right?
Yeah, and if he sucks, if he's not ready to go, and he's losing games, he sets you up to start over next year. So I don't know that they're permanently married to this as far as, this being their path. Like the Giants are on a different path with Dart, right? Like using a first round pick, trading up to that pick, taking Dart, like that's your plan next year. Jackson Dart is your week 1 starter in 2026. I don't know that there's anyone on this Saints roster who they will feel compelled must be their 2026 week 1 starter. Do you? Like I think they very easily wash their hands and draft again if they're picking first.
So he was picked 40th overall. It's borderline, right? Where it's like this was a pretty high pick. But we've also seen him practice. We've seen him scrimmage. We've seen him play. I think there is a point of like no return where it's like he's just this bad. Somebody pointed this out too, Drew, that how sometimes you draft a quarterback and you say, he's a little developmental. He needs a couple years behind some guys. And then maybe he'll be ready for the big show. Well, this kid is 26. We're going to be pushing 30 when he's ready. I think at some point this season either plays or he probably never sees a starting snap in the NFL. And then, we saw what we had in Rattler and Hainer last year too. It's not strong. And granted, some of it may be scheme and injury-based stuff, and they were kind of thrown to the wolves. But regardless, this is just far and away the worst quarterback situation in the league, and it kind of ruins the rest of the handicap. It makes it really hard to address a lot of things, including an offensive line that I think is improving and not the worst trio of receivers.
Not good.
A running back is still dependable when healthy. Especially as a pass catcher, he's still fine when he's on the field. It's not the worst group of players to surround a quarterback with, but it is a very, very bad quarterback situation, and it stinks all around from from a number making and a handicapping standpoint.
Yeah, it's true. I guess some general thoughts. Last year was weird for them. They finished 5-12, obviously last in the division. And it is crazy how hot they started with those 2 wins before it just all went to absolute shit. And it went shitty for them, like in a weird way. Like they almost beat the Eagles week 3. They were almost 3-0. They almost beat the Falcons on the road week 4. That would have been a pretty nice little way to start out, contending for an NFC South title. And then truly defeated by the Chiefs, but the 7 losses in a row was enough for them to pull the plug on Dennis Allen. And then you know, I guess really was that at the Panthers loss, 23-22. If you're losing to the Panthers, then that's a bridge too far for Mickey Loomis and company. But the whole kind of the entire, you know, situation curdling with Derek Carr and him ultimately walking away from the sport in the offseason it was surprising. I didn't think that was going to happen. I definitely felt like Carr was going to be their week 1 starter this year, and he's out of the sport. Ultimately, the Spencer Rattler snaps we saw him start 6 games last year. He lost all 6. And some of them were not especially competitive because of his play. I thought that specifically his hilarity against the Broncos stands out in my mind as one of the funnier games we had all season. That Broncos game was a Thursday night football game where they lost 33-10, and I think there was at least a pick 6 in that game, if not some more hilarious stuff that happened. The ultimate story though with the Saints is sort of the check is due. The jokes about the salary cap doesn't matter. Salary cap's not real. Like, this is what a roster looks like when you're dealing with the ghosts of decisions you made 10 years ago that are still lingering, that are affecting your balance sheet. And because of that, they have to figure out a way to field a competitive team with the cheap quarterback. And so if it's not Shuck, then draft again next year. I would say that kind of where the Saints are as far as talent on this roster is not that far away from a contending NFL team. It's just the quarterback, like you said. And ultimately, they might surprise to the good at times this year if Shuck can play. From what I've seen from him in preseason, it doesn't look to me like he is like lost out there. He looks uneven like a rookie would. But he's got the physical tool set that I think is a little bit better than the likes of your Dylan Gabriels of the world, right? Like, Dylan Gabriel to me does not look like a guy who will ever merit starting, week 1 starter kind of respect.
Yeah, he's coming out of camp.
Shuck might. Yeah,
Shuck has the tools. It's just he's older. He's an injury risk, and it's uneven. There's a lot of uneven play, and he's going to be asked to. One of these guys is going to be asked to do a lot down here.
He can make a good deep. He can throw a good deep ball though.
Joe Milton.
Yeah. The other kind of funny thing. I don't know, man. I like the roster's pretty old in general, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. There's some pretty clear glaring holes.
Who's your highest rated defensive player?
Let's see here. It is probably DeMario, which seems
right.
insane.
No, it's right. That's the correct answer. It's DeMario Davis, who was drafted.
It's DeMario, yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Granderson's pretty good.
35. Granderson's very good. They did it. You added Justin Reed. You have to put him in the conversation as one of the better players as a packet safety. But definitely of the holdovers from last year, it's probably DeMario Davis. And he's still very good. He was drafted in 12. It looks like so. He is 36.
Cool, man.
Yeah. It's not something you're building around. Maybe one or two more years. Some of the other guys are not terribly young either, and that's where you need some of these younger, especially offensive linemen, because both trenches were really struggling at times last year. Even bringing in a couple guys who went and got 50, 60 pressures a pop, it was all-time bad. It was basically tied with the Cowboys for run defense. And you watched any of those games, that's pretty poor. So bad blocking up front, really bad run stop, and you were getting some pass rush, but at the same time, that's not super beneficial for a team who's constantly in game states where they're trailing and teams are wanting to run the ball on you, and your defensive tackles / linebackers / safeties aren't stopping anything as you were just weak up the spine. So they did go out and get some guys. I don't know, you have anything else to say about 2024?
Not really. I didn't watch a lot of Saints, honestly. They were a tough hang after the Dennis Allen experience ended. Yeah, I didn't really tune in much. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean the
Damn it, am I frozen or is Andy? I think Andy might have froze. Oh man. This is what we get for doing podcasts while traveling. Sorry, guys. All right, I'll talk a little bit about the changes that they made in the offseason. Obviously, the quarterback is the most important. They're returning most
you
of
know what you have to
this.
do once a day.
What's that? Oh, log in to that. That was
Once a
why I
day, you have
froze
to
too.
log into the Wi-Fi, and
It's
it
right.
can't happen. God,
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
that beep.
Oh
This is what
God,
happens when you do shows from the road. So, how much did you get me of talking about Kellen Moore?
none.
Oh, well, whatever you want to say, chicken and the egg and all that jazz. He still was the offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl winning team, and they put it on the Chiefs. They
Yeah,
put it on the Commanders. I mean, they had some really outstanding offensive performances, and Brandon Staley, he might be that guy that we talk about. That's you can't coach a team, you can't be put in charge of everybody, but you're still a good coordinator, and I think that might be the case with this guy. So you might have some pretty sizable upgrades at coaching, which isn't always enough when you have a roster that looks like this. But yeah, it's definitely some upgrades, I think, and maybe some fresh voices in there too. Because we had Dennis Allen. He hasn't been coached for long, but how long had he been there? How long had Carmichael been there? Like,
yeah.
it was a lot of the same voices for the better part of basically everybody who came over and started when Breeze started. And those guys had been there forever. A lot of names. So some fresh voices in the building, and then the free agent class wasn't super exciting, but it's not bad. It's above average, I think. But some of the spots you needed some help. We already mentioned Justin Reed, especially with Honey Badger being done with football as well. It's amazing how many players just don't want to play football anymore when you tell them you have to keep playing for the Saints.
The free agency was a lot of defense. They're going to start a lot of guys they brought in off the street on defense this year. The offense is a lot of the same characters again, and then you add to the mix the left tackle of the future you drafted and the quarterback you drafted presumably. But yeah, I mean, considering what they had to work with in terms of cap space, I think they got a fine slate of guys.
That's the other thing. They have like 80 some $million in dead cap hits, which is it's just
That's
so hard.
many,
I mean,
that's so
you're
much.
taking the GM's hands and tying them both behind his back and telling him to put
Well,
out
it's his fault.
a
So
roster. Well, no, that's the
we
thing.
shouldn't feel bad for him.
I mean, Loomis has done some nice things over the years, and they got their Super Bowl. So I mean, that was 09. So you're talking 15 years ago. Maybe not a big part of what they've tried to do, in the last decade or so. But yeah, it is their fault. You got to pay the piper eventually, and that's where you end up. We really need a wide receiver too. What's a really good one? Oh, we can't afford that. Where's Brandon Cooks? What's he doing? So you bring in that.
That was kind of a surprise, I guess. I was not expecting to see Brandon Cooks on an NFL roster this year.
Jack Stoll, tight end. It's, I guess, just something you need because your tight ends are kind of injured as well. So you went and got some pieces, not a ton on offense outside of Cooks. Dylan Radden's guard, just interior offensive lineman from Tennessee that is depth at this point. Same thing with Fortner from Jacksonville. Velus Jones, I mean, the kick returner probably more likely because you have your receivers in spots. And then Jonah Williams on the defensive side, as well as what's the other one I was missing there?
Godshaw.
They're back up. Yeah, Godshaw up the middle. Devon Godshaw, big guy, nose tackle. You do need help on run stop.
Should be an upgrade. Yeah.
It's definitely an upgrade up there. Jonathan Bullard, Jonah Williams, some other pieces that can cycle in up front. And we mentioned in the secondary to Julian Blackman.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear. Like they prioritized spine Godshaw and safeties, hoping to get another year out of Demario Davis functionally. Cam Jordan's still on this team. How about that?
I said that right before you came on.
Unreal.
Because I'm like, I was reading something like Cam Jordan's not still in this. Cam Jordan's still in this team.
He's still in the team.
He is not young.
He was drafted in 2011. Amazing. Secondary, Isaac Yiadom is not a player that I especially am fond of. But you're replacing pretty poor production out of Paulson Adebo, so it's probably lateral, if anything. Maybe it's an upgrade. Kool-Aid McKinstry, your young project on the other side, looks like he still has a lot of work to do to be a starting player. So that could be real weird. Clear holes at the cornerback position, in my opinion.
Yiadom it's one of those where I'm like, how is this a new signing? He was on this team, and it's because he was, and then he wasn't. So he was like, I think he went to the Niners for a bit, but he had a good 2023 here. And I think that's what they saw and said, maybe we'll bring him back, try it again. But it was clearly the best year he ever had in his career. It's not some splashy play or splashy move.
Yeah.
The draft
starters have holes, right? You agree? Yeah. Depth is a disaster on this team. The depth is real bad. If they have to backfill for injuries, like this gets it's the other part about the big dead money number is it's really hard to have quality backups. You have a lot of if anybody who uses our lads, there's different colors. Yeah. And it'll be like gold is you acquired him versus trade or free agency. Purple's a rookie. Aqua is UDFA, which means it's a rookie. It's a rookie. Yeah.
But they didn't get drafted, and there is so much
There's
Aqua.
A lot of
way more Aqua than other teams have because everybody signs UDFAs. Nobody has like this many and their second and third levels.
It's going to be bad. So it's going to get gross.
It is going to be gross if they do have to backfill. Good draft pick. I think Kelvin Banks especially. It allows Fuaga to shift back to where he is supposed to play at right tackle. So you may get a better year out of Fuaga moving back to his natural position with Kelvin Banks, Jr. from Texas, anchoring the left side, hopefully for a decade. We mentioned Shuck at length. He was drafted in the second round. They brought in a defensive tackle from Texas. This is another one, as you mentioned, helping the spine. This is a big fella. He has had some pressures. He gets some sacks. He's going to be rotational, but he is another one that is expected to play and help with the pass rush. And then Jonas Sanker from Virginia. And whenever somebody is a linebacker or safety and you have to write a bio on them and they were drafted in like the first 2 days, always says they're a tackling machine. So he actually was the ACC leader in tackles for 2 years running. He's a
bona fide tackling machine.
Okay. He is a bona fide tackle machine. He is going to, he's probably going to be your third safety at times. And, if they're running nickel and if it's any sort of run blitz or run fits, he's probably going to be in there because he is a plus against the run game. A bunch of other picks after that are seen as probably depth at that point. Danny Stutzman is another one where they basically said this is Demario Davis's replacement, hopefully at some point. Cornerback, running back, tight end, defensive end after that. And most people said they had a pretty decent draft. And I think
sure.
Again, when you can take a position like left tackle where you would have to pay the hell out of somebody. I mean, you saw what some of these basically mid-level left tackles were getting to go sign places in the offseason. It's probably a really good idea to get a foundational guy like that right off the bat in the draft.
We should note that one of the kind of projects among the many projects in New Orleans is trying to salvage what you have with the draft capital that it is Trevor Penning. They're moving him to left guard and he's hurt. So not exactly sure if he's going to make the transition and be worth anything to them this year, but that is something worth following. Otherwise, like, the offensive line looks pretty decent to me. I mean, I had a pretty favorable rating on Fuaga last year. I thought he was, especially considering he was a rookie and he was playing out of position, I thought he was actually fine. He wasn't the problem as far as I could tell you, and he was very available. Now on the right, I think that whole right side looks pretty damn strong to me. Center, Eric McCoy's good. Cesar Ruiz is good.
He's not good. I think I have him rated as great.
Who? Oh,
Your
great.
center.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I mean,
center, great. Yeah, that's fine.
He's the best player. He's maybe your best offensive player is McCoy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
Ruiz is a very good guard. Banks, obviously a rookie. We don't know a ton about. We'll see. Looks like he's acclimating himself fine. Fuaga, it wasn't a bad rookie year, but this could be, like we said, it could be a big step forward. Penning is definitely a negative unless being between, Banks and McCoy, suddenly he gets it. And sometimes it does take time, but it's been a few years. And yeah, they sunk some decent draft capital in him. I suppose one last go at it. I mentioned Fortner was a trade from Jacksonville. That was the trade that was yesterday?
Yeah.
Because Will Clapp, which is your backup center / depth in the interior line, he was placed on the IR a few days ago. So
yeah,
they've lost some pieces. We didn't mention Taysom Hill. That ACL was in December of 24. So you're talking, we're about 8 months out right now. It's probably going to be, he'll be on PUP to start the season and maybe midway through the season. Foster Moreau is on the active PUP thing. Trevor Penning actually had some turf toe. He's expected to miss some weeks, a couple weeks here in camp as well. So maybe not a good start to his last chance of last chances. Alante Taylor has been banged up with a groin. Olave has an ankle. Like they're already kind of injured too on a team, as you mentioned, that can't have that. Can't have that. Bub Means, we're not getting Bub Means this year. He went on the IR 5 days ago.
Yeah. All right.
Let's know a ton about Nick Saldiveri, depth piece in the offensive line, but he's at IR as well.
Yeah. You want to look at their schedule?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Because I have a fun fact.
Oh, please.
Who has the longest winning streak on opening day, opening week 1 winning streak in the NFL?
The longest.
The longest. Current. Not the longest ever. Is it the Saints? Are you going to guess the Saints? Yeah, it's not really. It's a joke. They won 6 in a row.
Wow!
And of all the games, it's a home game against Arizona. Weird stuff happens. It would be really funny if they just, for the next 5 or 6 years, they continue to win 5 to 8 games tops.
They're going to be at their best early in the season. But they keep this. I'd love to see this streak get up to 10 years. Oh, you don't want to play the Saints week 1, but you do want to play them the other 17 weeks of the year. There's some winnable games. So that's the other thing. It is, despite the fact that their touchdown underdogs are better in a half dozen games, it is technically one of the easier schedules. Yeah.
It's just the fact that they're power rated so lowly, they're going to be big underdogs, even to other bad teams. But you get the Giants at home, you get the Jets at home, you get Carolina at home, naturally. And you have a couple winnable games, especially if Tennessee, you play them. It's a big what if with the quarterback. Same thing with Atlanta twice, huge what if. Chicago's a what if with all the changes, new coach, new quarterback. So you get a bunch of teams that, if the chips fall right, you could be competitive. In Miami, you play at Miami. Granted, it's not early in the season when it's 115 on the sideline, but all things considered, this is probably bad. because it would be really good to draft first overall next year. You don't want to have this easy schedule. You don't want to have these winnable games on the schedule at all.
Yeah, that's right. You only play one top 5 quarterback. That's the Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills week 4. Otherwise, it's not a very spooky run of quarterbacks you're up against, which is good because, like, if there's a hole in your team, it's certainly the secondary, and teams are going to be able to pass on you. But you might end up making sort of the middle class of quarterbacks that you're playing this year look good. That's kind of the vibe I get, at least. Definitely, it to me at least, this looks like a tough way to start. Just in terms of back-to-back travel, Seattle and Buffalo, weeks 3 and 4 is nasty. Taking on Buffalo, taking on the Bills,
especially where you're located.
Tough.
Flying from New Orleans to Seattle's got to be. I mean, that's got to be a good.
That's
4
like a
hours.
5-hour flight probably, and then Buffalo's
and then
3 or
back
4
home, and then
or
up to Buffalo again.
Not
so
great.
That's gross. You get did you mention the 3 teams off the bye?
Oof.
The Rams at the Rams off the bye, at Miami off the bye, and versus Carolina. So even some of those easier games and easier opponents I mentioned, those are off the bye. You are at home versus division rivals Falcons off your bye. You have a later bye at least, and then you do get a couple of
interesting home games against the Panthers and the Jets. You could take yourself out of first overall draft position with some wins late in the season.
I'm wondering if San Francisco
Tennessee
doesn't start. San Francisco must be starting back-to-back roads because you'll have some travel advantage there. You're
San Francisco's at Seattle and then at you.
Yeah, so they'll be a little that travel weary doesn't work as well. You need some time to cater that. It's a little better later in the season to have that sort of stuff, but it's still a back-to-back, and obviously it looks like the same thing with the Jets. There'll be a back-to-back for them.
Yep. I mean, I want to have a reason to say that the Saints are a sneaky team to take the points with all season. Honestly, like, it's going to be tempting to take the 7 against the Niners in that week 2 spot. It's going to be tempting to take the 9.5 at the Rams week 9. Like, if that's 10-point spread by then, if they get downgraded, my numbers are going to say bet the Saints a lot this year, I think, Andy. And I'm going to need to see certainly some development with some of their important pieces in the secondary to get behind them. Because, again, like you kind of mentioned, there's definitely a world where they have fixed some of the run defense issues, but this pass defense is still very broken. And so, they're going to be a team that they're going to be a team that you can come back on if you get out to a poor start in a given game. And they're going to be a team that, that you're going to have not a lot of difficulty defending, presumably, unless the quarterback works out. So, I think, these are some big prices, though. That's kind of my read on this.
All right. Drew and Andy's survivor plan for this team. Circus Survivor Plan is probably one of the 6 teams that
this is a tosser.
It's a hard tosser. I don't think there's some world where this is a huge leverage play against the Jets later. Can you imagine resting your hopes on a bad quarterback like that? You are going to have to use you are going to have to use 20 teams in Survivor. So there's 12 you don't. And we said that there's like an overlap of maybe 5 or 6 more that are ifs and maybes. You have that Venn diagram at the end, but there are 6 or 7 that you just absolutely toss out. And this is not part of the Survivor algorithm for the year.
No, I think you're right. There's plenty of opportunities to pick against them, though. I think there's going to be a lot of utility in using against the Saints, particularly early in the season before they figure out how the quarterback development. I think probably a lot of people are going to take Arizona week 1. What do you think? It's Arizona or Denver. Those are like kind of the 2 obvious ones week 1, I think.
I'm trying to think of what week 4 looked like as well, just because that Buffalo game is filthy.
It's a monster number. It's a terrible spot for the Saints. Terrible spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's the back-to-back rest, the back-to-back travel.
Yeah. That's not a bad time to fire Buffalo, I guess.
If Buffalo's looking good, that could be like our first 14-pointer of the year, I think.
Yeah. Well, Sam thinks the winning streak is going to continue. He's expecting them to be this week one Survivor spoiler. All right. Sign up for Circa Sports Survivor and Millions contests this week. I will be signing up for both, and we will be talking about it all year. Get out to the desert while you can. Get your entry in and play from anywhere. Very fired up.
I don't know how much of this is public either, but as long as we're talking that, I was talking to Matt Brown, who is one of the, if anybody has watched the Survivor documentary that just came out, the little docuseries, he makes that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Him and a couple other, I got to meet everybody who works on that.
Cool.
It was really cool. They were doing some filming up by the pool, and the general consensus among the people who run the numbers and write things down are that this one could get to 20 million.
What?
They're just tit for tat comparing to where they were last year and where they're at this year. If the run rate holds, there's a chance this gets to 20 million guaranteed. So I said there's no chance of overlay in the Survivor contest.
No chance.
Fly past the guaranteed 14-2. And we're likely looking at closer to 20, which is a pretty big payout, guys. So get out here and get in the desert.
Goodness.
Let's get to our power numbers.
I don't think there's any other way you're winning $20 million. This is the only way.
No, dude, it's that, or like you can just play constantly play lotto. You don't want to think as hard. You don't have to think as hard.
All right, let's go through our ratings on these guys. Again, as you mentioned, this is tough, and as is kind of common among my numbers, I'm higher than market on these guys, Andy. The market number for the Saints, just for reference, is minus 6.1. They are the 32 out of 32 teams in terms of neutral power rating by market, which is not a surprise considering how much red there was on their schedule. They are just dogs week in, week out against an easy schedule. My quarterback number heading into the season feels a little bit optimistic at 1.5. Where are you?
I went with 1. So this was a 0 to end the year. This was a 0 to end the year. And remember, our quarterback number includes scheme and OC, and you try to meld that in there. My 1 is all Kellen Moore.
Wait, I mean, let's get serious though. Have you seen any of the tape of Shuck? And I guess this is really we owe people this conversation at least. Yes. Were you surprised that Shuck started over Rattler in the preseason game week 2? That caught me by surprise. And does that tell you that this is just the Shuck show?
No, I think every coach does it a little different as far as who they're putting out there certain weeks or who they need to see against defenses. It's not always like, hey, week 2, this is the guy we're starting. This is where,
So what do you think?
When you have a quarterback competition like that, I mean, look what the Browns did. Granted, they have
all kinds of injury weirdness going on.
Yeah, and they didn't need to see what they had in Flacco, which Flacco was named starter as we said he would be. But no, I think you'll still see both, maybe all 3 guys play in the the final one as well.
So you don't have a read?
I think it would be Shuck again because you drafted him high enough.
I think so. Too.
Feels like you got to give him a chance, and you know what you have in Rattler and Hayner. Like get him out there, put him against a real defense. See how bad it goes. It doesn't matter.
Our friend Brinks was hot on that Saints team total under yesterday against the Jaguars. The Jaguars not exactly a fierce defense, certainly. The players that they had out there. So I ended up watching a lot of that game. And I see it with Shuck. Like I get it. It's inconsistent, but like let him play. Like I think that's your best bet. Rattler to me looks a lot more able.
He looked better, but
you've seen him play. But you know what his ceiling is, and it's low.
My number is made with Shuck. So my number is Shuck starts as a $20 million rookie, and Kellen Moore is there.
All right. I think people are a little cold on Chuck. I think he's going to he will ultimately turn into be a a guy we're counting on for covers this year. Sadly, sadly. 1.5 for me. What about your skill group?
Skill group, I made it a 5. I think
right.
this is I think I can absolutely defend this being a middle of the pack 50th percentile group with Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, who
that's that 1-2 right there is a lot of teams would take that. I think I think a lot of teams,
and a healthy Alvin.
Yeah,
we brought in Brandon Cooks.
Yep.
Tight end could, it'd be a lot cooler if Foster Moreau or Taysom Hill were healthy. Juwan Johnson is not a big plus. Your depth is a little suspect at both wide receiver and running back. You got Cam Akers. You brought in from Minnesota.
He looked bad yesterday.
Kendre Miller, he's still young. He's only been in the league for 2 years so far.
The running game in general looks pretty fucking bad.
You know who else is on this team? Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, yeah? He's gotten another cup of coffee? Who knew?
I guess he's in camp. Okay. Your backup wide receivers are like Cedric Wilson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Dante Pettis. It's not good depth, but at the same time, you have a solid one, not elite, but a very solid 1-2. Shaheed, it was, he's a slot guy, so maybe I'm asking too much from.
No, you can take the top off.
A little better separation at times, but they're good enough. So I think this is a middle of the pack squad.
I'm at 5.5 for them overall, and I would be higher if there was any depth that you could count on. And
that was my big negative. Was just like if anybody gets hurt, this
gets bad quick. Yeah. All right. 4 for me for offensive line. Where are you?
3.75. I didn't get lower than you across the board. My goodness. I thought you were going to be negative on the
betting Saints this year, I guess, Andy.
I mean, we already mentioned it. Banks starting as a rookie on the left tackle. I have to start it pretty low. I'm willing to bump this up pretty quickly if he looks like he can hold his own. You got a couple decent pass rushers in Arizona, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Penning sucks at left guard, but
I don't even know if he's going to play. Didn't he have a foot?
Well, he's going to miss several weeks, it says. And when we were doing these previews a month ago, that wasn't a big deal, but now it's the 18th of August, so a couple weeks is suddenly, like who's your starting guard now?
I bet it's going to be Dylan Raduns.
Well, it's really Dylan. Yeah, that's who you'd slide in for sure, is because it's better than Kyle Hurtle. So it's probably the free agent. Is it Raduns or Raduns? I never knew.
I honestly don't know.
He doesn't get his number called a lot on TV.
No.
So we'll have to sort that out. We'll sort that out after the show. As I said, I love McCoy. He's their best player. He's an elite center. Ruiz is very much above average, and Fuaga is a pretty good right tackle.
Penning, I think so too.
Penning was playing right tackle. Maybe that was the problem. He could be, decent at guard. We'll see.
Yeah, he just has his whole vibe is weird. Don't love him.
I know. A lot of them had pretty good run blocking grades. We'll just see if the
run game yesterday did not look good. And I'm not hearing anything positive about this running attack at all. And again, considering who you're up against, this could be bad. It is my 28th rated offense right now. That, of course, gets harmed if I turn down the quarterback OC knob, if it looks like Shuck does not have any spark.
The 27th percentile offense.
It's bad. It's not very good. Run stop for me. I upgraded from where I was last year, and I'm at a 2.
I'm at a 2. Same thing.
Still pretty bad.
I echo what Drew said. They threw a lot at it, but they didn't have enough money to throw at it.
Yeah,
I mean, you're trying to patch up a faulty dam with mud, and it's not going to work in the long run. Probably, we'll see what some of these youngsters that they drafted or brought in do. But my run stop number at the end of the year was like a 0.68 out of 10.
Yeah,
so this is an upgrade, and it's still. That's about as high as I can go with it for now.
Yeah, same. Pass rush for me is a 3.8. Chase Young's on this team. Maybe worth mentioning him, I guess. That guy's a pressure generating machine. Doesn't get a lot of sacks. It's obviously a humongous amount of pedigree with the defensive rookie of the year in his cabinet, but yeah, I mean everybody else is pretty long in the tooth. Granderson, I think, is a fine player, but it's lean after that. What do you think?
I went a little higher there. I went 4.5.
Okay.
I do like Granderson. He's been around, what's he, sixth, seventh year at this point. Chase Young got I think it was 65, 66 pressures last year. He's absolutely a plus. Mario Davis is additive. You got you got a couple guys in the secondary who can blitz from back there and bring something. You have some names. There's just not quite enough guys to make it like this is a good pass rush. Like Cameron Jordan's 1,000 years old. Breesy hasn't really excelled at that part of his game yet. And granted, he's
second year. Who knows?
Yeah, he's young, so there's some guys that definitely can take some step forwards. But it's 45th percentile, 4.5.
Okay. Granderson entering his year 6 season, age 29. Cam Jordan entering his year 14 season, age 36. All right. The secondary is really this one was really tough. Like my read on these guys is not good. And maybe they surprise us, but Alante Taylor I like fine. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I would consider a work in progress, and Yiadom I think is your quintessential journeyman. So this could get bad coverage wise. I am at a 1.8.
Oh man,
what are you?
I'm 2.5.
Okay,
I'm not keen, but yeah, I like Justin Reed. But in fact, I like Blackman. McKinstry has not been bad. There just hasn't been. It's not like one of those teams where, obviously, the Eagles is the far end of that spectrum. They just didn't hit on a guy. Hey, this is a guy who's going to step in and be great for us immediately, and we have our coverage guy now. But you have some decent players in Justin Reed and Julian Blackman back there at safety. Pete Werner's a decent coverage guy at linebacker.
Okay.
You have some pieces, but it's still, McKinstry is at best a middle of the pack cornerback right now. You bring in Yiadom again, middle of the pack or below. You just don't have good corners, and you can't make it happen with just good safeties and a couple linebackers who can cover. Actually, Demario Davis, he can still cover, man. I mean, you got linebackers who can cover. You got safeties who can cover. You just don't have a single good cornerback. And, did Alante Taylor miss him? No, he played 1,000 snaps last year. And I think some of his grades are going to be slightly tilted by just who he was having to play with. He's better than
I think he's fine. I would put him up. I think he's the strongest part of that secondary.
I have several things up.
Yeah.
Well, and I have several grading systems up, and they graded him as the 116th out of 116 corners.
Oh, wow.
Year.
Who? PFF?
Alante Taylor. Yeah, PFF.
Has him last?
Dead last. His coverage grade was 35.4. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's that bad. It's just the coverage unit is a group project. And when they trade away Lattimore and he was hurt anyway, and you're playing with the rest of these turkeys, Matthews got one foot out the door. It's going to sting a little.
Oof, man. Okay. Well, maybe I need to go back and look at my Taylor numbers. I didn't have him that bad at all. I mean, I'm at a 1.8. This is, I think, actually my lowest coverage. This is my lowest coverage grade, except for Miami. So yeah, I'm not expecting it to be very good, I guess. All right. 31st best defense for me overall. Brian, what's his name? Staley. Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley has his work cut out for him. Good luck, man. Although I don't really care for you, so maybe you don't. Good luck or not, I don't care. All right. He was a liar. He lied about a bunch of stuff that really pissed me off, and I forget what it was. And he got Mike Williams hurt on the eve of the playoffs for no reason.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then lied
that's
about him being available. That was the end of it for me and Brandon Staley. Anyway, yeah, 31st best defense, not great. Where are you for coaching intangibles?
we don't have aggressiveness stats because he's never been a coach before. But we know what some of the people he's coached with, and we understand he came from Philly.
I think he's going to be aggressive. I would expect max aggressiveness out of him.
I didn't have him I don't know that it's I'm penciling him in to be top 5 aggressive, but if he's not in the top half of aggressiveness ratings next year,
I would be surprised.
Yes. That said, I don't have him. He doesn't seem like a strong. This is just subjective. Doesn't seem like a strong leader of men, or I don't know.
He's a backup quarterback.
He's a backup quarterback. We don't have, and we don't have stats on second half adjustments yet for him. So I just stuck a 4 in there and said that's what I
Okay. All right, that's fair. Special teams, I'll go 4 as well. I had 3.5, but you talked me into upgrading to 4. Special teams, the kicker yesterday was awesome.
Groupie, he was about 87% last year. He is a strength. They have very much above average, but not elite. I made this a 6.
Okay.
They have brought in 3 different punters. I believe all of them UDFAs. They are still working between Kai Kroger and James Burnup, the dirty turnip. That's not they still don't know who's going to be starting for punter, but it will be a random UDFA. Rashid Shaheed's a good returner. So is Dante Pettis, and they have a pretty good coverage unit. Both in. So it's above average. It's a 6.
What's your total number?
My total number for the Saints is a negative 5.95.
Wow.
So I'm above market. What do you say?
Wow.
But I'm close.
6.1. All right. I'm minus 5.92.
Oh. So you are a little rosier than me.
A little bit. Yeah. 32 out of 32 here for me. Worst team in the NFL, probably.
That is.
That said, I did not bet them for fewest wins. I think they will surprise and win too many games to be the fewest wins. It's just, they're not as good a team as the Browns, but the Browns' schedule is just an absolute nightmare. There are a lot of games that the Saints could accidentally win on this schedule, and they're going to get to 4 or 5, I think. And that's going to take them out of that conversation, I think. And again, by the time we get to the end of the season and they're playing some of these softer contests, Shook might have enough reps to be, better than a 1 as a quarterback. Maybe he's a 2. Maybe he's a 2.5. Who knows?
And somebody had said that the other day about the Saints. I was listening to some podcasts and said teams don't lose every game anymore. It just feels like there's more
there's
parity.
A lot of NFL players on this team. Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever have another 0-17, 0-18 team. It's just so hard. It's so hard to lose every game where these number 1 draft pick teams are winning 3 games, 2-3 games. And there's a bunch of teams that can be in that 3 to 4 win range. And I think you can find a couple teams to probably find a better number on that. Might play Miami. I might play the Jets. There's some teams that have some trash situations. I think they could quickly devolve into chaos and have tougher schedules because in the long run, as we said, this is a bottom 5 schedule as far as strength.
Yeah,
right now.
The market hates this team. Hates it. Dogs in every game except for 1. Huge dogs in a lot of their games, Andy. You add up the implied win probability of their 17-game season, and it adds up to 6 implied wins. So that kind of, I think, paints the picture correctly. I would still go under 6 personally, but their odds to win the NFC
what's your expected
South
wins?
Are locked. I'm around 4.5, I think.
I have 4.9, I think I have.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's right about where I'm at. Yeah, man. I mean, golly. We don't have odds up right now for the NFC South for some reason. Why do you think those are locked? Somebody get hurt that I missed?
I haven't had any Bleacher Nation alerts.
What's the game? Washington, Cincinnati? I can't imagine.
And
The
Stafford's
South?
back at practice. Xavier Howard's a Colt. None of the news has been. Dave Canales says Andy Dalton was a muscle issue, and he could play if this were the regular season. That doesn't move the needle.
He's the backup quarterback. Why would he play?
I'm not saying any reason why I'd be locked. It might just be maintenance, man.
I can't wait to hear your takes on the Panthers tomorrow, if I'm being honest with you.
I'm excited for that one, too. I think that's a fun team to speculate on.
It's really interesting, yeah.
As far as betting, like you said, I'm not interested in taking the favorite in some of these worst team, most losses, last to win a game market with this team. I like to look a little further down the board, find some teams with the worst situations.
Their playoff yes, no price. Yes is plus 857.
No.
Ultimately, I'm
probably no bets to be made. There's no award bets to be made on this. We're probably not gonna have a rookie of the year coming out of this roster, guys. They're not gonna give it to a left tackle.
No, they're not.
Kellen, coach of the year. I think he'd have to make the playoffs. That's a very tall task.
Tyler Shuck's rookie of the year price if he starts all 17 games. No,
it would have to have more digits than my social security number. No. Seen him play. Can't do it.
Okay.
Comeback player of the year, Taysom Hill. He has like 10 touchdowns in the second half of the season.
Yeah,
saves this offense. You know what? He's going to save the offense and pull him out of the basement. They're going to draft like 7th instead of first. And everyone's going to say thanks, Taysom.
Yeah, he's a man of many talents. All right. By the way, looking at the awards markets, I'm just curious. What do you think of the Ben Johnson Coach of the Year price? Does that seem right to you?
No.
You think he should be the healthy favorite?
I get it. Like, I understand it, but I'm not keen on him just turning it around there.
You don't think?
I think it's a 2-year project. Like, so maybe I am fine with the price, honestly.
Okay. Okay. I feel like if Caleb Williams, if he looks like he looked in that first drive for most of this NFL season, Ben Johnson's going to get a lot of the credit for that.
You know what we should have done last year if we were using that logic?
Bet
Stefanski. Because of DTR's preseason.
That's a good point.
And we'd have won money.
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good luck, Saints. Good luck, Saints fans. We kept this one under an hour. Good job by us. And we'll touch base on the Panthers tomorrow. Do you have a guess as to whether I'm over or under market on Panthers?
You're over on everybody. You're so rosy this year.
My difference between my total difference between my numbers and market is 0.13. So I'm right. I'm on average. I'm right on market. I am. You're gonna cut the podcast off so we don't spoil. We won't spoil it.
We're not gonna spoil it. Let's do a podcast about the Panthers tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do that.
Even better. All right,
man.
See you guys.
Mondays.